Chari. We would be live. O yun. Okay. So good afternoon, my dear friends, and welcome to another episode of Bonding with Reelj. And this afternoon, we are so blessed and we are so lucky to have with us a very dynamic person, no, who would be helping us this afternoon sa program natin as we would talk about long
Dynamic
distance
person
relationship.
who would
Okay?
be helping us this.
Okay, so we would be talking about long distance relationship ngayong hapon. No? So prepare your questions, prepare your comments and your experiences. Okay?
So,
Because we will have a great time this afternoon hearing the story and experiences of our guests. Okay. Um, Later on, you might be wondering why we
story and
would be
experiences
speaking
of
in English as we usually, because you'll be in Taglish, right? But this afternoon, we would be uh, speaking in English because we have some friends who would be watching with us straight in Taiwan. Okay, so we would like to greet them a pleasant afternoon. Okay, so specifically to Albi. Hi, Albi. Okay, she's a new student of mine. So good afternoon and welcome and thank you. Thank you for adding us tonight. And by the way, friends,
good afternoon
we
and
are so blessed here at Bonding with Reelj. Yesterday was our third month, no? March, April, May, June. Oh, yes, 3 months na tayo. So this is our third month yesterday, and we would like to thank all our subscribers. We have already reached 209, I think. Okay, so 211. 211. Wow, thank you very much to our subscribers and friends for joining us. Okay, and as well, if you enjoy for sure, if you enjoy our discussions here, feel free to share it with your friends. Okay, share it with your friends so that they can also join us and grow with us. Okay. Sa mga friends ko sa Facebook, okay, if you do not have your YouTubes, okay, hello Erla, good evening or good morning sa iyo dyan sa US. Ayan, Earl, nasa YouTube po kami ngayon with Reverend Harold Peñacerrada. Okay, with Nong H. So join me in YouTube with Nong H this afternoon as we talk about long distance relationship. Si Erla po kasi LDR din to before eh. Right, Earl? Na LDR din to before. And hopefully she can join us here on YouTube and share her experience later on. Okay? So Erla, go sa YouTube. Okay? Magkasiyahan tayo doon sa YouTube with Nong H. Okay? Hello to your husband there and to your kid. Okay, but anyway, my dear friends, before we kick off with our topic this afternoon, let's first reflect on God's word this afternoon as our topic. Okay, our title for our short meditation this afternoon is entitled "Side by Side." Side by side, which is found in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse verse 9. Okay, let me let me share the page with you. Okay, Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9, which says, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. My dear friends, if we would look at the Bible, okay, if we would look at the scriptures, we would find there a lot of verses that would allow us or that would prove to us that there are two heads or two heads is always better than one. Like, for example, in the New Testament, when we, during the days of the disciples, after the death of Jesus Christ, when the disciples are out in the field witnessing and evangelizing, they would always go by pairs. Okay. And if we would look at the book of Nehemiah, chapter 3, Nehemiah chapter 3, this would tell us about the story of the Jews who are trying to rebuild the temple. Okay? The Jews were trying to rebuild the temple in those days because in those days, if your community do not have a wall, it will signify that your community has been destroyed. Your community has been conquered. Okay? So you need to have a wall to protect your community. And Nehemiah chapter 3, my dear friends, would tell us that here we can see different walks of life. People from different walks of life. We have here the priests, the who are working alongside with the rulers. We have the perfume makers working alongside with the goldsmiths. We also have even people coming from different places or neighboring communities who went there to help build the temple or the walls of Jerusalem. And it's not only the walls of Jerusalem, but people are also building not only their houses or rebuilding not only their houses, but also their neighbors' houses. Okay, we can even see the daughters of Shalom working alongside with the men. So during those days, the women are less, are lower than the men, but here we can see that even the women were considered less during those times were working alongside with the men. Okay, and even people from Tekoa are also working in different sections. So here, my dear friends, we can see that regardless of your status in life, okay, regardless of your status in life, they are willing to work hand in hand. They are willing to work side by side because you know why? First point is they worked for a common goal. They worked for a common goal. And what is this common goal? Their goal is to rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, to protect them. Okay? So they work to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem and the houses that were destroyed. So that is their common goal. And secondly, everybody was commended, regardless of how big or small their work was, they were acknowledged. They were acknowledged. So, my dear friends, it simply shows that when we work, okay, when we work, it does not matter how big or small thing that you have done or shared, as long as you are willing to share and to do your part in helping alleviate the situation. Okay, as we continue to face this pandemic, as we continue to face the uncertainties of life, my dear friends, we are faced with a lot of struggles, a lot of burdens, right? But we need each other. We need each other to alleviate and to solve our problems, right? Our government cannot do it alone, our neighbors cannot do it alone, and we cannot do it alone, right? Because no man is an island. So we always need somebody. We always need a helping hand, right? We always need somebody to be there to help us, to support us. Okay? And Proverbs, okay, Proverbs 3, 5 to 6, a very common verse, okay, a very common verse would tell us that trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. So, meaning to say, my dear friends, that no matter how big our problems are, no matter how difficult our situations are, we just need to trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding. and in all our ways. It says all your ways. It does not say some of your ways, but it says all your ways. Submit to Him, and He will make our path straight. Okay? So, my dear friends, as we continue to face the uncertainties of life, as we continue to hold on and to hold on tight in the situations that are being thrown to us by life, don't give up. Okay? Don't give up because God is always there and He is helping us. He is helping us. He is He is at our side. He is on our side, holding us and lifting us up. Okay? And that is why, my dear friends, this afternoon, okay, our topic for this afternoon, my dear friend, is long distance relationship. Right? Maybe many of you would ask, well, long distance relationship is a very old topic. Okay, this has been discussed several times many years ago. But why is it that many of us are still having difficulty with our relationships, right? Like for good morning, Rick. Okay, good morning, Rick. Welcome and thank you for being with us. Okay, ito po si Ricky is also with a long distance relationship kasi or because his family is here in the Philippines, right? And as we have discussed last week, he is there working in South Africa and his family is here. His kids as his kids are here. So hopefully I know Rick is busy with his work, but I hope uh, he can drop by and spare some time later on and nakaw ng time. Okay, so today, my dear friends, our dear sister Lane is hopefully she can join us later, but she is busy with her job right now. So anyhow, um, hopefully she can drop by later. Okay, again for our friends on Facebook. Okay, for our face in Facebook, join us sa YouTube. Anak Ryan. Okay, Rai, join us sa YouTube. Okay? Come and join us sa YouTube, anak. We will be discussing long distance relationship. Ayan, okay? So, we would be having our dear friend, okay, Reverend Harold Peñacerrada, who would be sharing to us, okay, something about his experience and tips. Okay, just a quick idea. Okay, about a quick background on Reverend Peñacerrada. Sorry po medyo hindi po ako sanay. I'm not used to calling him Reverend Peñacerrada or Reverend Harold. Okay, because I basically used to calling him Manong or Kuya. Okay. A little background on Reverend Peñacerrada. He was a graduate of CPU from elementary, high school, and college, where he took his college bachelor's of theology. He was also the youth pastor of a university church for almost 20 years. Okay? And speaking of that one, basically, I grew up in a university church with Pastor H, as we would call him. And I am who I am right now, partly because of his training. Okay. Training in the church with the ministry, with the theater in the church. Pastor H has been a big part of our youth lives in the university church. And right now, he is working as the associate pastor of Christ Centered Life Global Church in Puerto Princesa. And at the same time, he is also the English professor at Holy Trinity University Graduate School, as well as the management professor at Palawan State University College of Business and Accountancy. Maybe you would notice why he is working there in Palawan because it is where he found the half of his life. So he was married. He is married now for 19 years to a Chinese lady from Palawan, si Ate Norly Co Española Peñacerrada, with whom they are blessed with now an 18-year-old, no, 18-year-old na si Kyla, and she will soon be a freshman student at DLSU. Okay, so my dear friends, join me in welcoming the Reverend Harold Peñacerrada. Ayan.
Yes. Pleasant good afternoon, everybody.
Yes, ayan.
Can you hear
V,
me clearly, Pastor Reelj? Can you hear me
yes.
clearly?
Yes, now, very clearly.
Okay.
Vibs, nasa YouTube po tayo. Vibs, nasa YouTube po tayo. So, just click the link that I provided here on Facebook. Okay? I think this is also public on Facebook. This, I think, naka-public siya, Vibs, sa Facebook. But, Nong Harold, can you remember Vivian Barrera?
Of course, Bibs. Yes.
Yes,
I know her pretty well. Okay.
yes. Vivian is watching right now in Facebook, and we're inviting them. For those who are viewing us in Facebook right now, join us in YouTube. Our beloved Nong H is joining us. Okay, and I would like also to say Sawadi Kap. Again, Sawadi Kap to our friends in Thailand who are watching us right now. Okay. So welcome, and if you do not have your YouTube accounts, so my dear friends, you cannot comment on it, but you can watch us still on YouTube. But send your comments and questions here on Facebook. Okay, but I encourage you to have your Google accounts there. If you have your Gmails, you can uh, comment there and watch. Okay, Nang H, would you like to greet your friends?
Yes. Pleasant good afternoon once again to everybody, especially those who are part of our family circle, and of course, my friends, both from the what graduate school and from the College of Business and Accountancy, but most especially from Iloilo City, even from the University Church, Central Philippine University. There are a lot of friends actually who indicated that they're joining today. I wonder if they made it, but in case they did, so thank you for being with us. And of course, I would like to thank especially Pastor Reelj for giving me this privilege.
Yes, Reels na lang ng H.
Okay, Reelj.
Okay. Yeah. So, ng age, kamusta naman diyan? You are in Palawan right now, right? Or Manila?
Actually, we have been stranded here in Makati City for almost half a year. Yes.
Oh.
So although we are based in Puerto Princesa City, Palawan, but we have been stranded here in Manila for almost half a year now.
Okay. So, and you are just having your school online, of course.
That's right. That's right. One very good thing about this online class is wherever you are, of course, you can do it. And with the blessings of our university president from Palawan State University, Dr. Ramon M. Docto, as well as the blessings of our dean from the College of Business and Accountancy, Dr. Nelly Mendoza, I have been allowed to do this online.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that is the beauty of technology,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Thank God for
Yeah.
that. I mean, one of the many things we actually thank the Lord for, amid some clamor or negative feedback, that there are also a lot of good things about it, right?
Yes, correct, correct. Right. We just need to look at things on the bright side of life, right now.
That's right. Maintain a positive spirit.
Correct, correct. Positivity. Now, ng age, let me strike our first uh, question for this afternoon because we are talking about long distance relationship, and we are
Right.
so happy that amidst your busy schedule, you have spared a few minutes to join us. Okay, How did you know Ate Norley?
Well, it's actually a long story, but anyway, I was with the Central Philippine University Gospel team in our evangelistic rally. I mean, that's an evangelistic outreach program for 2 weeks. And one of the stations we went to was Brooks Point, Palawan.
Hmm.
So that's where I got to meet my wife now, Norly Co Española. Actually, some of the members of the CPU Gospel team were housed in her residence because, lay modesty aside, she has a big house in Brooks Point, Palawan, and she was able to accommodate some members of our gospel team. Not knowing that these members of our gospel team, not to mention their names, actually,
Okay.
were secretly having a prayer time with the helper of my wife now, and they were lifting to God how we could probably be matched. Because at that time, I just broke off with a girlfriend, you know? And then my wife Norley also was earnestly praying for somebody to be a partner in life. So that's how we met. We had the CPU Gospel Team outreach in Brooks Point, Palawan, and there came Pastor Eduardo Modesto Rodriguez, who was the president of the Ministers Fellowship at that time, and he was, I think, he was the culprit why we came together. That's Pastor Jay, who happens to be my brother-in-law now.
Hmm.
Okay, that's it. That's actually, it's a long story, but there was a time when there was no plane yet, so I had to go through this 2-day boat ride.
Hmm.
We stopped over at Cuyo, and
Oh yeah.
then another day to Puerto Princesa City, just
Hmm.
to be with my, well, girlfriend at the time and now my wife.
No. No, because you are here. You were here in Iloilo, right? So when you saw
Yes.
Ate Norley, did you say that wow, this is the girl, this is the lady of my dreams, or was it love at first sight, or
Well, actually, Reels, that's very true. I was in Iloilo City, and actually, she was in Brooks Point, Palawan, although she stayed longer in New Manila, I mean, Hemadino, Manila. But anyway, um, at that time, I was so heartbroken, having broken up with somebody,
mm,
of course. You know exactly who. Okay,
yeah.
so that's not a secret to you anymore. So I was praying, Lord, if it is really your will for me to get married, then please give me uh, a lady with a heart for missions. And the Lord really granted my desire. My wife wells up with this concern and this zeal and passion for missions. And that was an answered prayer for me. At the same time, little did I know that she was praying also for a pastor because her
Oh.
older sister married also a pastor who used to be was that very politically identified person because his father was the governor of Palawan then.
Mm-hmm.
So this pastor became like an ideal man for my wife. And so he
Hmm.
said, I wish I could also marry a pastor. And she said, the Lord answered my prayer by, having married me. That's it.
Okay. So, how did you court Norley?
Oh my goodness, Rilj. That was exactly the difficult plight of long distance relationship because I had to see to it that I communicated well with Norley, and that was
Mhm.
the time when the technology was, very poor yet. So we always had to go through a snail mail. You know that?
Oh, it was still snail mail. Wala pang ano yun?
Yeah.
Internet?
Well,
Cell
there's
phones?
none. There's none at the time. There's none at the time actually. But our favorite was LBC, but most especially
Oh
JRS.
my goodness, yeah.
JRS. That's it. And that was really something I struggled with, but I'm glad that my wife was able to keep like about 2 boxes of those in her possession.
Okay.
So that was really a lot. And in my case also, I had almost like more than 1 box of all those cards and letters also, which we maintained communicating with each other, of course, until of course the what's that, Typhoon Frank.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness, flooded all those. But hers are still intact. As a matter of fact, our daughter gets to see those cards and just, so this is how you actually courted mom, just like
Hmm.
that. And of course, more than anything else, I really prayed harder than any prayer I ever uttered to get married with somebody who has a heart and a passion for missions, really.
Oh, oh, that was so nice. Ang age, hindi ko alam 'to,
And of course,
This is the
real,
part
of
that I
course,
lost track with it.
every night we would
Ah,
call each other. We would call each other.
wow.
There was the old mobile phone yet at that time.
Mhm.
So that's it. We just maintain
Ah,
calling each other.
okay. Now, ng age, Auntie Marjorie Raffles is saying good afternoon to you, and
Yes, Pastor
she's
March.
watching now. Yeah, she's watching. And well, we are so blessed right now, Nong H. We have your cousin joining us from Dumalag, Capiz.
Oh, is that Dr. Jennifer Wong?
Jennifer Ruth Wong. So I'd like
Yes, my first
is
cousin,
can you
Jen
just call
Jen,
her
Dr.
up?
Jen.
Okay. She is here with us.
Okay.
Okay. Doc Jen.
I
Do you have
hope
your
I hope the connectivity is okay there.
yeah, maybe you okay. So we would like to thank her for joining us as
Hi,
well this
Jen
time.
Jen.
Doc Jen, can you hear us?
I think she's muted.
Oh, wait. I think she muted her microphone. Okay, she
Okay,
muted her
anyway,
microphone.
I'm glad
Anyway,
she kept her promise.
yeah.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, no. With the technology right now, no, with the technology right now, and with all these apps right now, okay, how is it difficult, or in your opinion, in your opinion, is it easier or difficult to look for the better half?
Obviously, it's much easier these days with the technology. Yes,
Okay.
it's much easier with the technology. Although, of course, there are some glitches which you have to be
Mhm.
careful about.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the technology right now when it comes to long distance relationships?
Well, just like what I said, it's easier in the sense that you can always get in touch, maybe faster than before,
Mm.
with your, I would say, your better half, or even the person you're courting, or the person you wanted to get in touch with.
Mm.
But also a little bit complicated when there are some, well, as I say, technical problems maybe. So sometimes you get irritated why you couldn't make it because of that. But obviously, it's easier and faster.
Yes, correct. Now, I remember during my college days, I had one. She is from Zamboanga,
Uh huh.
Zamboanga del Norte, and we would exchange. Of course, we would write letters. As you said, in snail mail. It would take us months
Oh, that's
before
right.
we would receive each other's letter, because she is in the province of Zamboanga. So until things just didn't work out. Yeah, but anyway, I would like to.
Don't you go, or don't you go too far, Zamboanga?
Yeah, we met. We met in the sports. I think it was Prisa. Remember when Prisa
Oh,
when
yes,
when
yes, of
you
course.
hosted the Prisa? right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think you have met her before. I invited her in the choir in the youth before.
Well, I believe so. I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. And then we would like to greet our cousins in Facebook. Si Kuya Nano, Kuya Arnold, way out in California.
Hello
Uh,
out there.
I am bored, I think, is in Australia. These are, see, I
Uh,
am bored is also one of our young people before.
oh,
Thank you
really?
very
Good
much.
guy. Good guy too.
Yeah. He is one of the Franklinians.
Oh,
Franklinians before.
I
Yeah.
remember that pretty well because the proctor before was a good friend also, Zeus Familiaran. Remember him at Franklin Hall?
Yes. Correct. Correct. Okay. So anyway, yeah, we are international. Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
ng age now, how, like, as I've said, with the current trend right now of technology and all these dating apps, okay, with all
Yes.
the dating apps that we have right now, what can you advise our young people or our adults who are, who are resulting to looking for their partners in these dating apps? I'm not saying that it is wrong, huh? Okay, but what can what is the reliability, or what can you say about it?
Well, whether we like it or not, we have to take advantage of technology, of course, in a positive way, because there are many ways technology could be abused.
Mhm.
But we have to be very careful in our use of technology in such a way that it really builds up relationship rather than destroys it or maybe threatens it, because there are many times also a lot of young people especially abuse it. I mean,
Mhm.
they use it more than it is intended for. So you have to see to it that you use technology in a way that would build up somebody and would also develop good relationships. There are a lot of people actually who capitalize on technology also for airing out their vented emotions, like un, if, unethically expressing all these. That is not supposed to be the right platform. Now, when it comes to relationship, as I said, this is a great advantage because you can just make use of it. There are
Mhm.
many platforms actually you can avail of in, well, maybe getting started with a relationship and then maintaining it. That's it.
Yeah. So, like, how difficult? I mean, for sure you have a lot of experiences counseling and talking with people who have found their partners in social media,
Uh-huh.
right? So, what are the usual problems of these kinds of relationship in social media, wherein they have not yet met each other? Especially last year, we had the pandemic, and I'm very sure a lot of people were hooked up with social media, and
Yes, honestly, there were a lot of cases I counseled people when they discovered that the partner was telling a lie. I mean, about maybe having another person or a third party in the relationship, and then telling lies in the sense that they are not really who they really are, because they
Mhm.
can easily fake this out via technology.
Yes, correct.
So that's one of the problems actually I encountered with some counselees. I mean, the
Mhm.
problems they presented.
Mhm. So, like, what would you usually, or what would you advise, or what are the tips that you could give to our viewers right now who are in this kind of relationship?
Okay, first of all, just like what I said, there are a lot of mobile applications you can make use of, but you have to be very careful about these in the way that they would always make your relationship stronger and more intact. Like for instance, there are applications like the U Version Bible application. You can
Mhm.
actually make use of that to study the Word of God together, or maybe have a common devotional. Then there are a lot of other things actually that you can use, like develop a special journal thing via
Mhm.
also the mobile app. And the best thing actually is learn to play games with them to know each other more, because there are
Learn
a lot of
play
to
games
play
with them.
games. I mean, these mobile games, which are, the Pictionary, the trivias, and all those. I don't mean games literally, but those applications. We have the modern trivias, the
Uh,
Pictionary,
mm,
Scrabble, and all those, just to
mm,
spend time together. Even when you are far from each other, you can still maintain as if you're still together.
yeah. Now, it struck me when you said play games with them because when I was in a different app, I was in a different app, and as we were, talking with some of the people there. Good afternoon, Ma'am Elizabeth Katipay.
Oh,
Welcome and thank
that's
you.
my niece. That's my niece.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yes.
three
Thank
recent
you,
three part.
Betty.
Yeah, thank you very much,
She
Ma'am.
is also experiencing a long distance relationship because her newlywed husband is a seaman, and I think off somewhere
Oh,
outside of the country
uh
just
huh.
recently.
Ah,
So Beth
okay.
is a perfect example of a person in LDR, long distance relationship.
Long distance relationship. Yeah. So, Ma'am
Yes,
Beth, feel free to share your experience, Mama. Feel free to share your experience or your questions
that's my
to your
favorite
cousin.
niece.
Uh, for your niece, for your
Yeah,
uncle, Sorry. So feel free to ask your questions for your uncle or share your experience. Okay, don't be shy.
that's right.
Now, going back to my question ng age, because speaking of games, as I was saying, I was in a different app earlier. Oh no, before, no, and people would say that since we are just in the app, I won't I won't mention the name of the app. Since we are in this app,
Okay, okay.
it's for a game. This is just a game,
Uh huh.
and we would always say, do not look for your better half here because we do not give you a better half here. But some people will say, well, I am not looking because I am afraid to love again. No,
Oh.
I am just I just broke up and I'm just here
Uh-huh.
to have fun and to play. So
Mm-hmm.
what is love, or where is love, or how should we deal with the fear of being in love, or people who are afraid to love again because
Uh-huh.
of heartache, something like that.
I think I have a verse for that, and I think you're familiar with that, Reelj. The verse which says, "Perfect love casts out fear," and
What
that's
verse?
really. Let's see. What?
Perfect love casts out fear.
Yes,
uh
that's in First John 4:18.
First John 4:18.
There
Okay.
is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear involves punishment. So the one who fears does not have perfection in love. That is in First John 4:18. That's right. That's the verse.
Okay.
So if we really honor God and believe in Him, then we don't have to be afraid to love and be loved, because God Himself is love, and it is His will that we actually have somebody to love in purity. That's
Yeah.
it.
So mean to say now, if even though we are just brokenhearted, okay, then we have no reason to fear, right?
Exactly. Exactly. You know why, Rilj? Because
Why?
God Himself is always there. He's always there actually to save you whenever you experience a crushed spirit. And I think that's also another verse found in Psalm 34:18. In
Some
Psalm 34:18, we read, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and he saves those who are crushed in spirit." See, you see, that's God's promise. There are a lot of people who have been, well, I would say victimized even by improper use of technology, and they only end up being brokenhearted. They're so crushed in spirit. But then the Lord is always there to comfort you if you're experiencing that, because He really is so close to the brokenhearted. That is it.
Now, speaking of the Lord close to the brokenhearted, okay? Because like sometimes people would say, "Oh no, the Lord is not there. If He is really there, then He would not allow me to experience these things." Like
Believe
if
it or not, I asked the same question when
you,
I, oh my goodness, you know that exactly. I had a Thai girlfriend before, and my wife knows that.
yes, so
Everything
what?
was perfect. Yes, Sasiton, the sister of Adisak. Well, that is not actually something in secret or taboo anymore, because everybody in the youth fellowship knows that. And she
Yeah.
was actually a very, very, well, I would say, a very ideal lady. She's beautiful, she's smart. But then the Lord did not allow us to be together. So I said, Lord, why did you even allow me to, spend 5 years? And then it ended up, and maybe as early as now, also another lady
Mm.
who, of course, is a physician. I believe she is still a physician. And this one is, again, I mean, from the Philippines. She went to the States and became, of course, a US citizen. The same thing, 5 years again, Reelj. Could you imagine that? And then we didn't make it. I think your sister April, Ron April, knows her very well because they always got together and, shared secrets
Just
and all
hang out
those.
in her house before.
Yes, exactly. You yourself are. I mean, are close to the
Yeah.
family actually. But
Mm.
anyway, that's the same thing. So I asked, why did you ever allow this to happen? So, believe it or not, I was even saying, Lord, so I want to be celibate. I don't want to get married anymore.
Mm.
But in my closest and sweetest devotional time with the Lord, He revealed to me that I had to get married. So God gave me again, after 5 years, a Chinese woman who is
Oh,
now the mother of my daughter, my only child.
yes.
That's
Yeah.
Norly called Española. See that?
They say that Lucky is the woman who is the last love of the man, and Lucky is
That's a
the
long
value is the
story,
first
actually.
love of the woman. I don't know if it's true, but my dear friends on Facebook, okay, join us in YouTube. We're having a great time with the Reverend Harold Peñacerrada here. Okay, so if you just stay here on Facebook, you cannot hear him, you cannot see him. So join us on YouTube. Just click the link. Okay, just click the link or search Reelj R and join us here. Okay, we're having a great time
I
here.
think, Rilj, I think
Yes.
this topic is very, very significant, not only to girlfriends and boyfriends actually, or to the
Mm.
married couples, but even among friends. There
Oh
are
yeah.
a lot of relationships among friends that prosper even when they are distant from each other.
Mhm.
The very, of course, exact example was my best friend. You know him, Elwendio Arroyo, who just passed away.
Deal. Yes.
And by the way, I forgot to thank you so much for speaking there in one of the wakes he had, representing the Convention Baptist Youth Fellowship of the Philippines.
Yes.
I thank you so much for that. So
You're
that
welcome.
was it. How can we maintain such a relationship? I mean, the best of friends, even when we are far from each other. That's it.
Mm.
But more with my wife, because there are many cases I had to leave and be alone in many invitations, especially in camp uh, or conference. And for weeks, I would be away.
Mm.
But the beauty there is, even at a distance, we were able to maintain each other and, you know, really express that intimacy in one way or another, just like that.
Ng H, can you see the comments on your end
Oh, which may I see?
on YouTube? Can you see the comments on your end? I think you can see the comments on your end because we have here simply me. She said that she thought you had a wife before. Well, 19 years ago, Nung H is single, but now for 19 years, he is already happily married.
Yes, yes, that's right.
So if
Oh,
you can see there, simply me
I,
on
I,
YouTube.
I cannot see that one, Reelj. I cannot see. But
Are
anyway,
you on YouTube? Yeah,
thank you for feeding me with those comments. Yes, of course.
yeah, you can see
Uh,
it there on the comments on YouTube if you're viewing it as well on YouTube.
I'm not viewing it. Actually, I'm looking at the private chat we have, but it's not
Oh
there,
no,
right?
no. Click on the comments, Manong. Click on the comments.
Uh, where is that?
If you are in the private chat, it's on the side.
Oh, yes, that's it. Okay,
The
I got
comments.
it.
Yeah, you can see
Okay,
there.
so
Simply me.
simply me. I thought, yes, I have. I have a wife now, but if you're talking about another wife before, of course, I didn't have
Vivian
it.
Barrera. Oh, it's simply me, Vivian Barrera. Okay,
Is that
Viv.
simply me?
Yeah,
Simply me.
simply me is
Vibs.
Vivian Barrera. Sus Marie.
Yes, Vibs.
Yun.
My wife is Norley, no other woman.
Yeah.
I had I had two girlfriends before. I had two
Yeah.
girlfriends before my wife.
Because I understand. Vivian was after Vivian graduated from college, she worked outside already. So she got lost with the connections at UC, right, Vivs?
Yes, yes.
Vivian is I'm
Simply
sure.
Vivian. Oh, hi Vibs. I'm so glad you're
Yes.
there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So thank you, Vibs. You can ask Nung H a lot of questions, Vibs, if you want. Okay. Don't be
I
shy.
wonder if my brother Jesse or my sister Ruthie was with the same batch with Vivian. I'm not sure.
I think Vivian is older than Jessie. Vibs, sino mas older sa inyo ni Jessie? I'm not sure. I think Vivian is older than Jessie. I'm not so sure.
Oh, is that so? Okay.
I think
Anyway,
so. I
of
think so.
course, I know Vivian very well. She was even with us at the university church
Yeah,
before,
one
right?
of the talented young people for the
Very
state. Oh,
talented.
Ruthie.
Yes.
Ruthie is her batch now.
Ruthie, that's it. So Ruthie, my youngest sister.
Also, yeah, so
Okay.
younger sila. Younger sila kay ano, kay
Younger siya.
Jessie. Okay. Now, ng age, speaking of Tuto Deo, okay,
Yes,
we know
yes.
that the age gap in Tuto Deo is very, very big. You know, yeah. So
Yes.
is age a factor of friendship
No,
or
it's not. It's not.
certain
I mean,
relationships? You know,
yes, real. That's right. Age is not a respecter of friendship. Age is not a respecter of friendship. In other words, you can still be very close to each other as friends, regardless of your age. Remember, it was Jesse who was Dio's classmate. Actually, it was Jesse who was what Dio's classmate, and they were in grade three when Jesse introduced to me Dio. And then I thought they would really be the best of friends. But it turned out that Dio went to our
before
house even without Jesse. So I was always telling him, "Oh, Jesse is not here. To," because I called him always To. And he would say, "No, hindi naman si Jesse. I'm not here for Jesse. I'm here for you." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Okay." So that developed the friendship. And so his mom would always call and tell me, Pastor H, can you come over and have lunch with us? And then I would think, oh, really? Because Dia wanted to have lunch with you, just like that. And so it went on that way until, of course, in the parsonage, he would always eat there. He would
Mhm.
always be there. Bring also his girlfriend at that time, Karen, and just like that. Well, that's it.
No, what can you suggest when it comes to like girl boy relationships? Going for marriage. What would be your tip with this guys or couples with a big age gap? Is
Well, the same way. The same way, age doesn't really matter. As a
Mhm.
matter of fact, I have a friend right now, a very close friend, who is known also to Janin, Dimples, and Luis,
Mhm.
because she works on. No, I think she's no longer connected with World Vision, but she
Yes,
worked with
yes,
World
World
Vision for
Vision,
almost
the
20
the
years. Yes, and there was this lady. I will not mention the name, but she's a very good friend who married a young man 20 years younger. 20 years younger. Janine San Luis knows that story. And now they are blessed with two kids. Very
mm,
smart children, a girl and a boy, and they have maintained such relationship. That's really something. So age doesn't really matter, but you have to see to it, of course, that you adjust also in so many ways. It's
mhm,
just a matter of being flexible.
mhm,
Well, um, I mentioned also that what is important is respect.
mhm,
You have to respect each other because that's how you have to be accountable when you are responsible. So this young man who was very very much younger than his wife became a responsible father. So regardless of his age, he wouldn't always think, I'm much younger, I'm supposed to be your son only. But then he became very responsible and proved to his children that he really is a good provider.
uh,
So that sense of responsibility is very important because that's how you develop accountability to one another.
okay. Now,
Okay.
what do you think is the secret, or is there any secret for a strong relationship, especially for long distance ones?
Well, just like what I said, first of all, I mentioned respect already because that is very important when you try to develop openness. You have to be very, very, what's that, open to let the person establish his or her own boundaries.
Mhm,
Okay. So, if I may reiterate what I said a while ago, first of all, that accountability coupled with a sense of responsibility is very important. Do not think that the person can just do anything anyway, because I believe that freedom detached from responsibility is not freedom at all. In other words, as Nibor mentioned, it has to be a responsible freedom. So
mhm,
yes, you're accountable to each other, but you make sure that you have that sense of responsibility. And then of course, Reelj, I was saying a while ago, you have to set boundaries. You have
mhm,
to allow people to be who they really are. You don't have to put them in a box.
mhm,
And that that boundaries also has to be made or have to be maintained with certain freedom and yet responsibility, but most importantly with respect. So it is good that you try also to know your partner's friends
mhm,
or whoever that person you love is associating with, get to know, maybe learn feedbacks from them and all that, because that's how you get to know each other better. And then, of course, I would say people actually say that the key to that strong relationship is communication, but actually I would say communication with comprehension, because you
okay.
may be able to communicate with one another, but without understanding exactly who the person is and what you're up with, communication is useless. So it has to be an open communication with comprehension. In other words, you understand the person really. Do not always demand to be understood, but to understand. That is more important. So that message you relate to the person, you have to see to it that that person understands it the way you do. Because if your message does not tally with the understanding of the other person, there is no communication at all. The most important thing there in communication is comprehension. And finally, since you're asking me for the tips, the most important tip is having or establishing devotional life, because that is what will make you really strong in your relationship. You know, I mentioned about that strong foundation when you allow God to be the the third party, I would say. If you remember that verse from Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 12, Ecclesiastes 4:12 says, "A cord of three strands is not quickly torn apart." In other words, you have to allow God to be a part of your relationship. He is the one holding you. He is the one establishing that equilibrium or that balance.
Mhm.
You must put him also at the center to be able to have that balance. And that is the role of God. You maintain your walk with God consistently, and nothing and no one can actually break you. So that's it, Rilj.
Yeah.
Of
Okay.
course, there
So
might be other tips, but that's
let
what
me just
matters.
reiterate those tips. So the first one is accountability coupled with
Yeah,
a sense of responsibility. Right. So dapat,
that's right.
right? So we guys should have. So I think accountability with responsibility goes to both parties right now.
That's right.
It's not
That's
only
right.
for the male or for the female, but it goes with both uh person. And then the
Yes,
other
I would
one,
like to mention, by the way, Rilj, if
uh-huh,
that accountability is practiced when you are not married yet, the more it must be practiced when you are married, because you really are accountable to each other as husband and wife, no matter how far or distant you are from each other. Okay,
mm,
that's it. Thank you.
yeah. And then the second or the next one is boundaries.
That's
Okay,
right.
boundaries along with respect. Right? Now,
Yes.
when it comes to respect ng age, now speaking of respect earlier, is also respect like for example, of course, faith, faith and trust goes hand in hand with respect, right?
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
uh what can you comment on this, like for example, even though they are on long distance relationships, right? Although Pastor Martha Luces also
Yes, a
mentioned,
very good friend of mine. We were classmates. We
mm,
were
yes,
classmates.
she also mentioned her viewpoint about what do you call this,
Respect.
about respect. But I would like to ask your opinion, your male opinion on um the the passwords and the privacy of the social media or the cell phone of your partner. Would you be in favor? Are you in? Would you agree or disagree that, let's say for example, Ate Norley would know your password for your Facebook, or would just browse your cell phone?
Honestly, she does. She
Uh huh.
does. She does know my password,
Password.
and
Uh
she
huh.
knows almost everything about it, but it doesn't mean that she has no respect. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, she would be the first one also to tell me, "Dad, somebody here is messaging you." So I have nothing to hide from her. I told her about my past. I told her who I really am and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I give her my password. My password. In a relationship, that's how important it is. Even when it comes to finances, I give her all my money every time I get a pay. She has access also to my ATM and to my bank account, just
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm. So what
So
is
that to me, I think it's still respect because you have to have a certain limit of it. That does mean it does not mean that when she knows my password, she is already vulgar about it and she is demanding about it. I think many times she would always tell me, Dad, what is this thing? Just like that. So
mm,
she still respects me even though she knows my password.
mm. So does
But
it mean that
I respect also other couples who would
mm,
say that they're on their own. Well, this is my privacy. You respect my privacy. I mean, I respect yours, just like that. But
mm,
honestly, with a relationship, she knows my password, everything about me, just like
mm.
that. Email, messenger, and all that.
So dear friends, here we have another perspective on boundaries and respect.
Yes, for
Martha,
19 years, Reelj, we
yeah.
never even had a single trouble with that
Does that
because we're
but
open
does
to each other.
that, but does that also mean ng age? Because like sometimes some partners would use it as a hook or like as something that would tie them, you know, or would use it as what is this, what is that, why is this, why is this that?
Maybe I should say, Reelj, that every one of us, of course, has his own reasons for doing that.
Mm,
I mean, some people probably had an experience in the past which probably what's that really requires them to do that. But when it comes to respect, you still maintain that respect because when you say privacy, it's something actually you hold dearly. Even if somebody shares that with you, although you might say, I mean, literally speaking, that's not privacy anymore. See,
mm,
but in other words, I allow my wife, my significant other, I would say, to do that because I believe this is my own perspective that when God actually said you and your partner have become one, that's it. So what I am is really hers. What I have is hers. What she has is mine. So we
mm.
share together as one.
Well,
That's
I
my own
think
perspective. Of course, it's debatable, but that's my own experience.
mm. Well, I think the age that is where also what you have mentioned earlier about communication, open
Exactly.
communication with
Exactly.
comprehension, right?
Yes.
If you are open with each other, then there is no use of uh, keeping secrets or hiding your password or something like that, right? Or
Right.
if you are open with each other, then you can say, "Ah, I don't care about your password. It's your stuff."
But you see, Rilj, I tell you honestly, I have a lot of friends actually who would be on that. I mean,
Mm,
even when they're married, they would still maintain that this is my password and you're not supposed to actually meddle with that. That is mine. And even when it comes to finances, so couples would divide things. I pay for the utilities. You take charge of the children's school fees, just like that.
mm, yeah,
Okay. Or
depends on
anyway,
your communication, right?
yes. How? That's why you have to talk about it. You have to at least signal the other person first about
Mm,
it.
correct. And of course, talking is not just enough, but it is partnered with comprehension.
Exactly. Understanding is the key to
Comprehension.
open communication.
Speaking of comprehension and communication ng age, is cultural background important?
It is. It is actually very important. Well, especially in my case, because I married a Chinese woman. You know
Mm.
how difficult it is. I mean,
Yeah, very
blending with the Chinese
one. Huh?
community, especially when I was just courting her. It was just, I would say, more difficult than going through the eye of a needle. I can see the one
Yeah, this
because
is wow.
it's very difficult, really, on the part of a Chinese guy marrying a non-Chinese woman, it must be a little, I mean, a much easier. But a Chinese woman getting married with a non-Chinese man, it's very difficult, really
Mm,
difficult.
yes.
But God
So
made a way for that.
correct.
The Lord asked, actually, is there anything too difficult for me? You know,
Mm,
nothing is ever too difficult for the Lord, because as I mentioned to you also, the Lord must always be there as the object of love. Remember, I think I remember that verse also in what's that, the Matthew 22:37, which says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. That is really the topmost thing that you have to do. When you learn to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, nothing is ever too difficult with you, because
mm.
God Himself is the one making a way for you and for your relationship to blossom and flourish more.
So mean to say, when you are in love, okay, when you are in love with a different culture, uh, you should also take note of the cultural practices of your partner, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Very true. Well,
Yes.
when it comes to food alone, oh my goodness, I had
Oh
a
my
cultural
goodness.
shock when it comes to food.
Yes,
You
I
know what?
agree.
That's right. But as the years pass by, I have learned now to love spicy food, and I am able now even to eat, these hot food and all that.
Mhm.
And I have to be very careful when it comes to some relationships,
Mm,
with the
yeah.
family members.
Mm, correct. So how difficult it is, like, how difficult it is to interact for the first time with the family of Atinorli, considering that they are of different background, different race and culture.
How difficult? It was very difficult at first, but of course, I was not new to a cultural challenge, because remember, the two other girlfriends I had different also backgrounds. Like the one was from Thailand,
I
so
Filipino.
more or less, I was able to live in Thailand for quite some time and was exposed to the Thai culture. At the same time, I was able to live in the States for a while and was exposed also to the Western culture. But this one, I think, is more difficult than the other two when it comes to cultural challenges. So I had to study, whether I like it or not, Chinese. It's a good thing I am teaching world history. So
Mm.
one of the countries we really study a lot is China. So I got to study everything about it. And of course, the language is difficult, by the way, to really practice. But even
Tama.
now, yes, my daughter is still laughing at me when I try to speak Mandarin or Hokkien, because my wife speaks Hokkien and my daughter speaks Mandarin. Well, I speak
You speak
English.
English.
Just like that.
You speak English.
Yes, so I always say, speak English, okay?
But somehow you can comprehend those two languages
Yes,
already.
of course. So I can understand little by little, but you
Mm.
ask me to really speak the way they do it? No way. Okay.
So they cannot sell you up.
Come again. I try a little harder for
So
them.
they cannot sell you already. They cannot backbite you
Of
unless you
course,
understand.
because I'm also very, very meticulous in asking my wife and my daughter, what do you mean by that? What is that? Or somebody,
So
a foreign would
was
ask,
there a time,
yeah,
PH, was there a time that they were, making fun of you in Chinese and they would tell you a different thing?
not probably making fun, but they were like trying to what?
Like
Trying
just
to
for just for fun times.
Yes, of course. I mean, jokingly, yes, a lot
Yeah.
of times. But then after a while, my wife would also tell me actually what he or she meant was this, and we would laugh and laugh till our stomachs hurt, you know. But I would also do the same thing when I am with my daughter, and even with my wife, because I also taught my wife and my daughter Ilonggo, Kinaray, a little of that, Cebuano, a little, just like that. So I would tell them, communicate with them in my own language. And of course, the Chinese family members would, yeah. Hey, wait, you know. Okay, quit. So it's even.
Yes, right, right. Oh, Nang H, Shenny is watching on
Oh,
Facebook
I'm
right
glad
now.
Shenny was
Yeah,
able to make
hello.
it. Yes, Shenny was
Yes,
able to make it.
Shenny, si John Ray Collado, and si Maylene. Hi guys, good afternoon. Okay. Well, anyway, Nang H,
Yes.
I would like to have a longer chat with you because it's been quite some time.
Yes,
Okay.
I miss you. I miss our bonding
Yeah,
time.
yeah. But
But time is so limited.
yes, correct, correct. But I've learned so much, and I hopefully our friends who are watching with us have also learned something this afternoon. Right? So, I'd like to thank once again Sir Ricky, way out in
Yes,
South Africa.
yes.
He is a
That's
chef
right.
in
Thank
South
you.
Africa.
Thank
Si Ma'am
you, Sir
Elizabeth,
Ricky.
si Vivian, okay, and all our friends watching on YouTube, but are asking questions in in Facebook.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
because they do not have
So
their
Shenny is in
YouTube
Facebook.
account.
She's not in the
Yeah,
YouTube, right?
Shani is watching. Shani is watching, but she is in Facebook.
Oh,
Uh,
I
she
see.
says hello, nung H. Okay, we have Ryan. We have Erla. I don't know. Have, can you remember Erla? Uh,
Erla, what's her
Erla
family
is
name?
the daughter of Manay, the teacher in Baptist Center Church before, members Highway Evangelical Church. Um,
I
I
wish, I wish I knew the family name.
forgot.
Was it Condes? Not Condes.
No, 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 no. There are only two of them. Manay. Oh my goodness, Erla would bite me on the nose. I forgot the name of her mom. Uh, she used
Not
to be a
Orpha Vic. Not Orpha Vic. Not
no, no,
Pinida.
no.
Ano,
Teachers Baptist Center Church, elementary
Baptist Center
before.
Church.
Christian Ed ang line. Also a Morena lady who is also fond of talking. A funny lady as well. I forgot her name. My goodness.
I only remember Manay Marge, Marge Harbadan as the CE directors there.
No, it's not Manay Marge. But anyway, Erla, sorry, I forgot the name of your mom. Her mom loves me when I was with Highway Evangelical. Her mom loves me so much. Sometimes I would eat. She died in a bus accident
Oh
in
my!
Negros.
At the tip of my tongue,
Yeah,
that
she died
tip
in
of
a
the
bus
tongue
accident
syndrome.
in Negros where she flew outside the bus. The
Oh my
bus.
goodness! Oh,
Forgot.
I remember that incident, but I cannot
Yeah,
recall names.
yeah, it's at the top of it. It's the top of, it's the tip of my tongue as well. Well, anyway, Earl, sorry very much. I forgot the name of your mom. Okay, si Ryan, Nippon, Julie. Okay, and of course Nano. I am Bor. Nano is in LA. I am born in Australia. Okay, si John Ray, si Mylen, Shenny. Okay, of all you guys, thank you very much. Ng
Yes, of
HD,
course. My niece, Elizabeth Betty Katipay, she is working at a call center also.
si Doc Jen also.
Yeah, Doc Jennifer, my first cousin also. Thank you
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
for
I was
making.
trying to invite her here upstage, but I think her signal is not so good. But anyway, nung H, I
Anyway,
hope
yes,
we
that was a wonderful
can
time,
join
Reg.
soon. Okay. So
Yes.
thank you very much for being with us, and do friends, as we would always say, no matter what happens, never ever give up because God can read each falling tear. He sees each heart that's needing cheer. He knows
Amen. Amen.
path is hard and difficult, but never ever give up because God is always near. Coming from an unknown author. And my dear friends, don't forget to subscribe here. Don't forget to click that link,
Yes.
click that icon on your lower right and subscribe. Okay, and also hit that bell button so that you will be updated with our upcoming topics on July, my dear. Farm and Sea Life TV ng H. I think this is one of your friends. Support in Farm and Sea Life TV. Good
Oh,
afternoon, friend.
That's is that Sir Ariel, the gardener?
I don't know, but she is watching straight from Palawan.
I think he is the one. He used to be Mr. Palawan.
Okay, Farm and Sea Life TV. Ayan.
Yes,
Okay.
Sir
Thank you very
Ariel,
much,
not
sir,
Chico.
for watching, and hope you would have clicked that little icon there. Yeah, he said nung H, yes, he is.
Oh, that's
This
right.
one.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sir
Oh,
Ariel.
speaking of Palawan, I would like also to greet all the members of Puerto, why, my goodness, the church in Palawan, San Jose,
San
San Jose
Jose, San Jose,
Church,
yes.
San Jose Baptist Church in Palawan. Hi guys, magandang hapon po sa
With
inyo.
Pastor Adon also and Pastor Aliaga, who is now married.
Yes,
Yes,
correct, correct.
that's
I
it.
won't mention names na lang because I might miss out somebody.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and they would what do you call this, complain and magtampo. Yeah. So anyway, thank you
That's
very
right.
much. So on July, my dear friends, nung age, we have a very nice topic on July. I don't know if you're familiar with emotional quotient.
Oh, that's really interesting,
Yeah.
Rich. Very
Yes.
interesting.
We would have Dr. Omega Garibay, who would be talking next Sunday for emotional quotient. So I hope, friends, you would also
Yes,
join with
yes.
us. And then on the second Sunday of July, we have a special guest. Para pangkiliti naman sa mga showbiz people. Ayan! Okay.
Who is your guest? Surprise.
Secret, surprise na lang muna, okay, sa mga show. With this one ng age, I did not expect that he would accept our offer, our invitation, but
Great.
thank you very much for my brother, si James, for inviting him over, and we are so lucky that he said yes. So
Wow,
meaning
that's great. So keep us posted
he's
anyway.
guest natin on the second Sunday of July. So be
Coming soon.
updated. Sino po itong personality na ito? Okay? So anyway, again, ng H, thank you very much. And
Yes, my pleasure,
God bless.
Reelj. My
And
pleasure.
thank you also for your hot pack sa mga friends. Okay? So
My
thanks,
wife,
guys. And
my wife and my daughter are also watching actually.
wow. Hi,
Just
Ate
watching.
Norlene. Yeah,
Yes, mommy
hey,
really
good
is saying hi
afternoon.
to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
anong araw, di mo
Bye
nakita.
bye.
Bye, thanks.
God
Goodbye.
bless you. Thank
Yes.
you. Bye bye.